Hey YouTube, AZ Cabellas coming at you today. This is, I believe it's, man, I keep losing track. Not sure if it's 7 or 8. Anyway, the title will be correct. And I told you last time I'm going to talk about case cleaning and stuff. If you, well, I was going to say one thing and I just contradicted myself in my brain. Don't ever get old. You really need to go, and this happens to be a Cabellas case tumbler, and it's actually made by for them by Barry's Bullets. There we go. So if you go on Barry Bullet's site, it's the same one. Instead of a green bowl, you get a blue bowl. Harbor Freight also sells one. It's a lot bigger than this. At the time I bought it, this was on sale at Cabellas, and it was less expensive than the Harbor Freight one. The Harbor Freight one is bigger, but this is plenty big enough. If you try and process brass that hasn't been cleaned, you'll find yourself scratching and tearing up your dies. If after you lube your cases, especially for your rifle cases, you could end up getting your gunpowder, if you don't vibrate and clean out everything, you could end up fouling the gunpowder, and your charges won't work, and it's just going to be a mess. This is this is a must-have. Some way of cleaning, whether it's a vibrating tumbler like this, or you can get the barrel wet tumblers and use stainless steel media that roll like a barrel. It's a cylinder shape. Either one will do a really good job. All depends on how much you want to mess with them. But you really should take and tumble and clean your brass. What I do is I end up tumbling my brass twice. The first time is when I get it and I tumble it and clean it out, and then I process the brass and do what I'm going to do to it, and then after I'm all done with my case prep and everything else, I tumble it again to get rid of any lube, especially on the rifle stuff. The rifle stuff gets tumbled twice, and the pistol, because I don't have to use the lube, it gets done once. About every third time or so on my pistol brass, instead of processing it through the progressive, I'll go ahead and I'll run it through a universal decapping die, knock the primers all out, and then I'll tumble it with the primers out, so it helps to clean out the primer pocket and stuff a little bit, and then I'll run it through the progressive press again. There's on the vibrating tumblers, there's two kinds of media you can get: crushed walnut shells and or corn cob media. Crushed walnut shells is harder, and it's a little bit more abrasive, and it does a better job of cleaning really dirty cases. The corn cob is softer, and it gives you a higher polish shine on the cases. What I use, I just went down to the to your pet store and bought some lizard now I can't remember what they call it. Anyway, it's crushed walnut shell for lizards, and it's a little bit less expensive than going and buying like an RCBS crushed walnut. Or another source you can go for some inexpensive crushed walnut is sandblasting media, and they have both the corn cob and the crushed walnut. The only problem is you have to buy like 25 pounds, so if there's like a bunch of you who want to go together and buy a 25-pound bag of sandblasting material or media, you can get the crushed walnut and or the corn cob and save some money that way. But this is the crushed walnut that I use, And what I do is I take and when I put the new media in, I'll take about a capful, maybe a little bit less, of this Flitz tumbler media additive. I think it's about $10-12 a bottle, and the bottle will last you for years and years and years and years. It makes the media work better, and with the walnut media, it gives it almost a corn cob shine without using the corn cob. When you're tumbling the brass, it doesn't matter whether you've got just pistol media, or pistol cartridges, or any cartridges you can put in here. Right now, what I've got in here now is a whole bunch of 9mm, and I've got a couple 223 in here someplace that I stumbled on, that I found. I've got to run these. As you can see, they're really, really dirty, and these were range brass I picked up, and so some of them had been sitting out for quite a while. If they clean up and look good, I'll use them. If they don't, hey, they didn't cost me anything, and I'll pitch them. I'll add them to the bucket. So there's that, and what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after it's run for. I like to run mine for a couple hours. It really polishes up the cartridges better. They're a lot cleaner, a lot easier to handle, and a lot easier to process through the reloader. So, but what else was I going to say? I think that's about it. And I'll show you what this looks like after it's run for a couple of hours, and you'll see a big difference in those cases. Hang on, we'll be right back. Let me get this started. It's not too noisy. It could be a lot worse. So we'll see you in a little bit. Hey YouTube, we're back. It's been about 3 hours and about 25 degrees later. It's hot. It's days like today that make me wonder why I live in Arizona. And anyway, let me show you what we got here. See what we got. Oh, I forgot to add on the first one, and I didn't get it on camera, but you'll see it here. I added a couple of old dryer sheets to the tumbler, and here's why. It really helps cut down on the dust that comes out of here when you're done. We wonder how that got in there. Because it really is very dusty, especially if you've got really dirty brass. But let's see what we got here. Well, the really dirty old stuff could probably run a little bit longer. The stuff that wasn't real dirty, like that, looks basically like brand new brass. And that's how it should look. But I'll show you how I do it. You can get those media separators. Let me see, Cabellas sells one, RCBS, Lyman, Dillon sells one, where you've got a basket that spins inside a tub. If you're going to get one that has the top over the top of it, that fully closes so you don't get that dust in the air. Because it's really not good for you to breathe. Oh, excuse me, to breathe. Let me unplug this, and we'll move this over, and we'll get my fancy schmancy $4 media separator, which includes an old U.S. Postal Service flat ring box and an old black garbage bag, and then I just, one of these, I call it a gold mining pan because that's what it looks like to me with the holes in the bottom. And we'll just take and just dump this in here, and we'll take out this last old dryer sheet. See how dirty that gets? And those things just make a huge difference in how much dust is created by this. We'll get the majority of the media out of there. You see, there's hardly any dust that way. Problem is with this, the brass cases are heavy and they want to sit standing up, and it's still holding all the media in there. And I found just the quickest, easiest way is to sorry for the noise, but now all the, or most of the brass is clean. See, I had a couple of 223 shards in there. All the rest of it is 9mm. This was all range brass that I picked up. But anyway, you can see, some of it gets really clean, and some of the old messed up tarnished stuff doesn't get so clean so quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump these back in here, and I'll let this run for a while longer. As long as you're not running really dirty brass. 3 hours at the most is all you should need. In fact, you can probably get by with 2. But this is really dirty, ucky garbage stuff, and I can probably end up recovering over 90% of it. I'll just let the tumbler run for a little bit longer. But the other thing I forgot to say, when you put the polish in your media, whether it's corn cob or the walnut shell, just don't put any brass in there yet. Just put your media in with the polish in with the media. Put your lid on it and let it run for about an hour, and that way it will distribute the polish all throughout the whole load of media that you've got inside there, and it won't gunk up on the shells. If you try to do it with the shells in there, it just gunks it up, and you end up with gunks of polish inside your brass. Don't ask me how, I know. So anyway, there you go, cleaning your brass. Trying to think what else I could talk about. If you guys have any comments or questions about what you'd like to see that I haven't shown you already, give me, leave some comments down here below. Let me know what you think, and depending, there'll be at least one more video. So this is AZ Papa Les telling you to take care, and remember to keep smiling, and makes people wonder what you've been up to. Take care, YouTube. We'll talk to you later. Bye.